Yeah, you read the title right. I actually like Spider-Man 3. I'm not a comic book fan, and by no stretch of the wagon do I like superhero movies. In fact, I didn't even see the Avengers. But there are a few superhero movies that slipped through the cracks, like I love the Superman movie starring Christopher Reeves, and the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man trilogy. But in order to review this movie, I have to take a different approach. I'm not just going to say what I like, I'm going to have to defend the big things that people hate about this movie. So if you don't know what I'm talking about or never saw this movie, spoiler alert. The dance in Emo Peter Parker, everyone hates Emo Peter, and his dance down the sidewalk, I'll admit it's cringy and I actually get secondhand embarrassment from watching it. However, its part in the movie was necessary to the plot. So Peter gets attacked by the symbiote and it morphs to his body, and the symbiote basically amplifies its host's sense of aggression and self-confidence to the point of arrogant cockiness. So when Peter dances down the street awkwardly, it perfectly shows the hold the symbiote has on his mind and how its power has gotten to him negatively. It's a genius transition, showing how the power of the black suit has turned Peter Parker from the shy, somewhat nerdy hero we all love into a total douche. So yeah, it's awkward to watch, but it's necessarily brilliant. Secondly, the fans were mad that Venom wasn't in the film that much, and the trailer made it look like he'd have more screen time. Now, being that I'm not really a comic book fan, I can't fully understand the frustration behind it, but Topher Grace knocked it out of the park. I loved him as Venom. When we first see Eddie Bronk, he's arrogant, he's cocky. He almost looks like he has a symbiote himself, but when Peter abandons the suit and it chooses him as its host, it makes him into a worse and more aggressive character. Not to mention the fight at the end was tense. When I first saw it as a child in theaters, I almost cried because it was so intense. This wasn't the typical superhero fight. This was an emotional fight with so much heat and it had such raw emotion. Like I said, this wasn't your run-of-the-mill superhero villain fight where the hero's trying to thwart the bad guy and save the day. Venom and the Sandman wanted revenge against Spider-Man. While under the influence of the black suit, Peter tried to murder the Sandman. And Sandman was a tragic villain who accidentally killed Peter's uncle and is trying to get money to save his terminally ill daughter. But instead of trying to get justice and stop the Sandman, he takes it upon himself to execute him. And Venom, Eddie Brock, was embarrassed and disgraced by Peter after he exposed his fake photographs, and the symbiote itself wanted to kill Peter for abandoning him. Also adding to the tension was Mary Jane. All throughout the movie, she and Peter had relationship problems and broke up, and this adds to the drama of the fight. So anyway, the villains wanted revenge for the hero wrongdoing them, which is very interesting. So even though Venom wasn't in the movie that much, all of his screen time was gold and highly enjoyable, which makes up for his absence in the first two acts. Not to mention having Harry Osborn reconcile with Peter and coming back with him to help him fight was very satisfying. This was by far the most emotional and passionate Spider-Man movie of the trilogy. So I know this was a short video, but I wanted to address the things that people hated about the movie and why I don't think the hatred is warranted. I like the action for this movie, the story, and the performances. So yeah, I like Spider-Man 3. Get over it. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. And if you disagree, well, that's what the comment section's for. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time on the next Unpopular Opinion.